YouTube? You're not tuned in to Star General TV, aka Mr. Vocable himself, and we're in the building. You know what I'm saying? And we got an very interesting topic. We got apparently a woman jumping off a pier, into the ocean to avoid being arrested after being caught. You know what I'm saying? Doing the deed in public. You know what I'm saying? You can't make this stuff up. Let's get straight into it. Just get straight into it. I mean,
comfort zone, very nerve-wracking, very different from anything I've done before.
A Florida woman had an interesting choice for an escape route after police allegedly caught her having sex with a man on a busy public pier. We're getting all the gritty details and we're breaking it down with
out of all the places you could have done, you could have went to the car. You know what I mean? Like you could have just went to the car, or your house. We have homes. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Defense attorney and former prosecutor Kathleen Bogenschutz. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
Dang, he went to jail too? I mean, it makes sense. Don't mind me. Don't mind me.
Hey there, on Memorial Day, right? Well, a mom called 911 to say that there were two people out there on the pier behind a locked gate around 4:30 p.m., so right in broad daylight, having sex. Yes. According to...
Damn. It had to be a Karen, you know what I mean? Nah, we stop. But at 4 in the afternoon? And you even wait, at least for it to get, dark at nighttime? You know what I mean? When the sun set, hey. Go to your house? That's crazy. I can't, I mean, when you gotta do the deed, you know what I mean? You just gotta do the deed.
To the arrest report, the officers spotted 20-year-old Alyssa Razzo and 23-year-old Zadok Westfield through a locked gate with visible signs that said no trespassing. Razzo was reportedly still wearing her swimsuit, while Westfield, according to law enforcement, was completely naked. The report says, quote, the female adjusted her swimsuit to cover herself and stepped to the edge of the pier. I instructed her not to jump from the pier, but she did, in an attempt to evade me, and began to swim northeast towards the beach. Now, the officer didn't jump in after and try to swim and catch her. Instead, what did they do? They waited for her to leave the water, and Beach Patrol intercepted her.
Yo, she did all that work just to get intercepted by Beach Patrol? That is crazy. Bro, what? But I gotta, I ain't gonna hold you. I gotta hand it to her. Me, I ain't that brave, to jump off a pier and swim, evade, you know what I mean? You don't know if there's sharks in the water, can't be doing none of all that. You know what I mean? Mess up the braids. You know what I mean? Dang. All this could have been avoided. Just do the deed at the crib. It's really not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? But, man.
Meanwhile, Mr. Westfield was still on the dock with the officer, and the arrest report reads, I escorted him off the pier, and he explained that he and Razzo swam to the end of the pier and climbed to the top to jump off, but they eventually engaged in sexual intercourse. Both subjects were detained. Now, here's another important aspect of it. The report also talks about a witness who originally called police. She said, this is a mother, that her children and her friends' children, who were ages 7 to 15, were at the beach near the Naples Pier. When they looked to the pier, they observed the subjects engaging in sexual intercourse. The witness also...
Nah, you already know they gonna do some time. What, the little kids done seen this? Oh, nah. What? Can't be doing this in these type of nice neighborhoods, man. Bugging out. What?
Also stated that her minor children were asking questions about what these two people were doing. Razzo and Westfield were both charged with trespassing and breach of peace. Razzo was also hit with an additional charge of resisting without violence. You know, we did some digging and found that.
Yo, you can resist without violence? Like, what? That's crazy. That's new. I didn't know you could resist without violence. But let me think, every single day. But nah, honestly speaking, like all this is just so like meaningless and just dumb. Like this, honestly, like she could have just stayed in the crib, bro. Or he could have just stayed in the crib. Or they could have just did their original plan. Jump off the pier. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's really not that deep. Like, I mean, like, I understand y'all like each other, you know what I mean? But, like, come on. And you got like, it's crazy that, yo, that's something that's going to probably be in these young kids' mind, like, for the rest of their lives. That's crazy. I mean, like, as a mother, as a parent, like, how do you explain that to them? You know what I mean? That's just... wow.
Ms. Razzo recently started posting on Instagram, seemingly as part of a wellness brand.
So what I was doing, what my problem was when I was trying to figure out my passions, was I was making the idea of finding my passions such a big problem in my head.
Well, clearly we have a lot to talk about, so let me bring in criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Kathleen Bogenschutz. Kathleen, so good to have you here. This is a different one. Have you ever seen anything like this before? Have you ever prosecuted a case like this before?
Not involving a peer, but like most things in Florida, yes, it has happened before. And in fact,
by the way, you just trashed on Florida, not me. Let me make it clear. You said like most things.
I can never run for office here. I love this state, but we're America's Australia. It's a criminal population, and a lot of things can kill you. So I have prosecuted cases.
Yeah, they don't play around in Florida. She ain't telling no lies. It's crazy out there, man. But hey, it's nice. You know, the weather's nice. I mean,
cases like this before. The key in charging the felony in this case would be whether the kids perceived the sex act and the fact that the parents were alerted to the parent or to the children asking questions about it. Kind of indicates that you might be able to go for a lewd and lascivious exhibition charge, which is based on the perpetrator's ages, would be a second-degree felony. Right now, they're only charged with misdemeanors, but I do recall.
Can I ask you about that real quick?
Sure.
Do they need the intent to do that in front of the children, or is it more negligence? Like they might not have known the kids were there. Look, if they knew the kids were there and were doing that in front of them,
wow. So like that's crazy. I'm pretty sure they weren't, like, I wasn't there. I'm not gonna make it seem like I was there, but like it would seem that they were not aware, or they probably just did not care that there were little kids involved. You know what I mean? Because it seemed like, you know, the guy was trying to say that they first originally planned to jump off the pier at first, but who knows if he's even telling the truth? You know what I mean? Just saying.
I could say, yeah, maybe you have a charge there, but if they were just acting negligently, they weren't thinking about what they were doing, could you still prosecute them on that?
So it's really going to turn on the facts that you have here. I mean, if there was any like a way that they were trying to hide themselves, being out in public like that, I've actually researched this, and I sometimes I think to myself, man, I was going places in life and now I just argue with people about penises. But I've actually researched this where you can like be touching yourself in a mall, and if a child sees you, do you have to know that the child was there?
Yeah.
Or can you have maybe intended just for the adults to see you and the child runs up? If the child perceives it, you kind of like, you break it, you bought it situation. But if there's an argument that, like, you know, they're
Yo, is she trying to say that? Wait, hold on. What? She trying to say that if it's a child seeing it, like they could be charged? What? Some crazy stuff right here.
trying to conceal themselves in some way, it's plus or minus there. And in this case, the pier had been damaged by Hurricane Ian, so the pier was closed. Now, it's an open pier, though, and it appears that the kids were not having trouble figuring out what was going on, that something weird was going on the pier. So I venture to guess that the state attorney's office in this particular circuit could possibly charge with a felony. There's also the fact that the pier was closed because of the damage. And I would get the feeling there were trespassing signs up. And there's also trespassing there's trespassing on a construction site. If they're continuing to, if they're going onto a construction site, that's a 3rd-degree felony in the state of Florida.
So but
man, like this is like beyond crazy, man. This is just beyond crazy. You just can't make none of this stuff up, man.